Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Ripple just partnered with this Australian public company called Novatti, and more stuff is going to be coming up in this video, but as hopefully most of you guys already know, we are giving away 250 XRP the first time that we hit 1500 likes within 24 hours, so make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell on, and make sure you comment something down below. That comment is going to be your entry ticket, and my question of today is, what year did you start to get into cryptocurrency? Put it down below. All right. Ooh, cool little article coming up here, and normally I'm very crisp with the news, where I'm there within 3 hours, but this news has already been out for a couple, and I'm very deeply sorry. However, it's still pretty important to cover and a pretty cool thing, so let's cover it just now. Australian payment service provider Novatti has just announced its partnership with Ripple, and because of the tie-up, its customers will be able to gain access to global financial network RippleNet that covers over 55 countries and 120 currency pairs. Now, one thing I just want to quickly say here already is this 120 currency pairs is something we don't really talk about too often. Same thing kind of goes for the 55 countries, but they promised us a little bit earlier, first of all, that they'll be expanding in Africa quite quickly this year, again talking about 2021, and that they could actually potentially get all countries or at least one to all pairs going in 2021. We talked about how important it was going to be for Ripple to at least get some access everywhere, and I don't remember exactly which of these two things they promised for 2021, but it's at least one of them, which is kind of also the other, right? I mean, if you have one pair to a currency, it doesn't matter if you're officially in the country or not, because at least you have the currency, right? And if you're in the country, I mean, even if you don't have the pair yet, at least you're in the country. So both of them are extremely fine in my opinion. But yeah, it is coming, and 2021 is going to be that year. The shares of Novatti, which has already scored partnerships with Alipay, Visa, Google Pay, and others, are trading on the Australian Securities Exchange under the NOV ticker. After joining forces with Ripple, it will initially focus on facilitating cross-border payments between Australia and Southeast Asia. Later on, Novatti also plans to process cross-border transactions sent to Australia, thus opening up a new revenue stream. Novatti Managing Director Peter Cook says that he's incredibly excited about the Ripple partnership since it'll boost his company's competitiveness and allow its customers to free up capital. Two things we need to know about. One, Ripple didn't have that good of a name over in that Oceania, if that's the way you pronounce that stuff in English. I don't remember, I think so. Oceania area, because of the recent Pay ID situation / scandal / lawsuit. If you want to kind of summarize that thing, well, there's a thing that Ripple developed and a couple other companies together called Pay ID, and they had the trademark, they thought, in the US and whatever. However, there was already a company in Australia that had the trademark on Pay ID, and so a little bit later they changed it, I think, to like Pay Now or something like that, which is just kind of a smaller name for crypto wallets. So, for example, it is let's say DustyBC $bitrue.com or something like, for example. I don't know. It just depends. I don't know exactly what it looks like. Bitrue.payid. Doesn't matter. It's just like instead of your 1FX3R25X789 address, XRP address, you guys get it? You have that little name. They had some scandal over there in Oceania. And by the way, I'm not a native English speaker, so my English is not perfect. Keep that in mind. And with that, again, had some issues with Australia right now, but this coming up right there I think is a pretty good thing to kind of ease up the score. And the second one is how Ripple's focus is again being prioritized here and being brought up, where the customers can finally free up capital by working with this, right? Which is, in my opinion, always a very positive deal, because they can invest more than if they get it freed up. In particular, this is a quote, "We look forward to working with Ripple to provide our customers with access to their exciting alternative financing solutions so that our customers can free up capital to focus to grow their business." And on that one specifically, I just want to say this thing right here, which is the loaning system that was built on top of Ripple. Because even though it's not just it is related to the situation, because I kind of think they're talking here about an alternative financing solution, that they're talking about the fact that Ripple does offer loans, and that might actually hint towards another heavier XRP partnership being made right here instead of just a normal cross-border payment partnership. Very cool to see. However, to kind of deep dive a little bit more, I have another article here Novatti partners with Ripple to fast-track growth in Southeast Asia, and it actually might be a little bit different than what I expected. I expected the main priority to be Australia with like a corridor to Southeast Asia to just, have some sort of other side to it, but this comes from an Australian website, so you can better see the narrative of what this does for the Australian folk, right? Because, well, this is published in an Australian paper. Digital banking and payments group Novatti has partnered with global payments company Ripple to target the Southeast Asia market. I actually, again, got that a little bit differently. I got it wrong, most likely. And their focus is Southeast Asia with their backend in Australia. Through its global financial network, RippleNet, or Ripple, allows its partners to instantly process global payments and access emerging capabilities, such as blockchain and XRP. Novatti's customers will get access to RippleNet and financial institutions that Ripple works with, such as American Express and MoneyGram. And the companies will initially target transactions between Australia and Southeast Asia. That one we already knew. And then a little bit further, Novatti shares are in the gray, trading at 27.5 cents, and they'll also aim for Novatti to process Ripple's cross-border payments into Australia, which may create a new revenue source for Novatti's core payment processing business, which means Ripple will be using Novatti for more as we move on here, and this is just a start. I've said 2021 is going to be a crazy year. We got a crazy good start, and even though I'm a couple hours late on reporting this news, guys, it's still pretty damn cool, I find. Then, I just saw this video, and once more, I talked to you guys about it before, right? About bleaching my eyes or, washing them with some bleach. I had that again, but this time I also wanted to plug my ears with some drills. Why? Well, these videos I cringe so hard about. And for all of you that don't know what I'm trying to say here, this is a TikTok, right? And I've told you guys before, once TikTok starts to talk about something, you got two potential scenarios. First of all, by the way, I do use TikTok a lot, mostly for my business. I told you guys about that before. Check out the Growth Masters Academy, link below, because I do Instagram stuff, right? So I also use this, but no face, no case, and definitely not cringy ass stuff like this. Let me explain. So I've told you guys before, if crypto and TikTok match, there's two things. One, people will hate the coin because, well, it's TikTok talk, so people hate it instantly because people hate TikToks. On the other hand, though, it does sometimes get a pump if the market cap is low enough because, well, these guys have no financial responsibility at all. They're like, well, us younger generation, aren't we like kind of put down by all those big guys with a lot of money? So let's all invest in this thing called XRP because, well, the Ripple, or no, she even says let's invest in Ripple because Ripple and Apple are working together on something called Rapple. That's literally what she says, and just stupid freaking stuff. And the thing is, if she were to just say, hey, let's invest in XRP, it's a good opportunity to get some money. Could have been cool, all right? Still, it's a dumb idea, I think, because there's mostly younger people watching, I think. So you're telling them to buy something from Crypto.com exchange, even. That's what she said, the app, which is already kind of scary because, well, it's just scary to tell people to do that. And then also she's spreading false rumors and lies and calling XRP Ripple. Just a lot of things generally wrong with this one and very, very dumb. I don't want to share it here because I don't know how the copyright is going to be working and I don't want to take that risk. So again, you can just check here, Eric WL, if you want to check out this video. I'm going to retweet it here so you guys can actually see it on my Twitter as well. What is this, guys? I have no idea. So again, this is what Rapple's supposed to look like. Somebody just made a satirical article on Coil. I think it was XRP Productions, most likely. Damn. And this thing got over 200,000 views and 40,000 likes. So you guys get it? You guys get what I'm trying to say here? 589 comments. So again, confirmed that XRP price is going to move up. Just kidding, guys. This stuff is not good. All right? Not good at all. And by the way, Kraken, a couple of you guys commented saying Kraken this, Kraken that, Kraken that. There's actually two Krakens which you need to differentiate between. Kraken is a crypto exchange, and some guys in politics have said, let's release the Kraken, right? There's actually two different things. It's not the same Kraken, though, that they're talking about, so make sure you understand that as well. Then, again, I can't end with cringe here. I gotta move on. Stellar Lumen SCB teams up with Lightnet to offer cross-border payments. Thailand's oldest bank, SCB, forms a partnership to improve cross-border payment efficiency. The new payment system will run on Stellar. So sometimes I'm kind of wondering, like, we've noticed a lot of SCB Ripple talks before, but now they're also working with XLM in that sense. Like, what is going on here? Where will XLM really stem out, and where will XRP do that? Because at first, if you were to ask me 2 years ago, I could really differentiate between XRP and XLM and exactly what their goals are. But the more we move on here, the closer these two projects are coming together, and kind of the more difficult it's becoming to put kind of a difference between the two, or to notice where exactly the difference lies and what exactly the difference is in goals between these two. So as of this point, they're still distinct. They're still doing different things with different priorities and different focus, but it's inching closer and closer to each other, which is very interesting to see. But we'll keep an eye on that. Just this partnership with the SCB, Simon Commercial Bank, we've talked about this a lot of times about XRP before. I found that interesting that they are working with Stellar now too. But that sometimes makes me wonder, is there a competition between XLM and XRP for who they're going to be working with? Because if you start to think about it, these major banks, if they were to use a currency, they still have to pick one sort of company to work with, right? Because you're not going to work with Stellar and with Ripple. You could, but maybe they won't. And Stellar mostly wants things built on top of Stellar, where XRP is mostly, they want XRP usage. However, both of them are changing, right? Because XRP, we're starting to see Flare and stuff like that being built on top of XRPL. And with Stellar, we're seeing more direct use cases as well. So it's interesting. Gonna be keeping an eye out on that, but let's move on. Consideration phase for digital euro to go well in 2021, says ECB executive. The decision on how to launch a digital euro could still be a long time coming. So I've discussed a couple of times before that I think 2021 we'll get a definitive answer to whether or not it is coming based upon peers, or based upon peer research, or like questionnaires and stuff like that, like a sort of referendum. It kind of feels like, where they'll be asking the people for feedback, and that's the way it's going to be going. Now, I kind of stated upon that one that I don't think it's going to be completely honest, where I don't think they'll really use our input to the fullest for deciding these types of things, because I mean, a government knows as well as any participant of it that, you know, people are generally pretty stupid. There's a lot of people that don't not have the required knowledge to make a choice about this. If you were to ask, let's say 100,000 people right now if they've ever heard about a CBDC, about 5 people will most likely say yes. And out of those 5, there's a good chance that 4 out of them will not even know exactly how it works. Because even though I have talked to you guys at least 50 times already about CBDCs in the last like half year, it doesn't mean that I know exactly how CBDCs work. Why? Because I've noticed every CBDC is just a little bit different, right? Do I get the general purpose of one? Yes. Can I tell you guys exactly how one could be built? Well, no, because exactly is going to be a difficult thing, but generally, yes. However, are all CBDCs the same, and will they be built on the same type of ideas and ideologies? Definitely not. And so from that perspective, it's also kind of difficult to put down exactly what you would like to see, because we don't know the consequences too well, and we don't know we don't have all the numbers and stuff like that. You guys get it? Like, we don't know exactly how many people are going to be using it, how much worth it is going to be, and stuff like that. We don't really have any info. So asking us for whether or not this should be coming is like asking a freaking duck something. You know, they will only say quack. They don't know. Or at least maybe they know, but we can't communicate there. There's a little bit of a language barrier where I don't speak duck and they don't speak English, I personally think. But yeah, here let's quote or see this quote. In mid-2021, the Euro system will consider whether to launch a digital euro project, which, by the way, first, this was said to be the start of 2021. They said the first quarter. Right now, it has already gone to mid-2021. But just to highlight, it would be an investigation phase, not the decision yet to implement, which once more is, in my opinion, a change of their previous stance. It will basically allow us to come up with an actual plan and what could be a digital euro, how it could look like, how it could be implemented, and if and when a policy decision is taken. Yeah, I get that. So once more, we'll hear more about the ECB coming up soon. For right now, that there's nothing really conclusive coming up here. However, I thought this was the way to go. In November 2020, ECB President Christine Lagarde urged the bank to come up with a decision on releasing a digital euro in January 2021. But they've strayed away from that right now by saying, oh, you know, it's going to be a couple of months and then we'll decide. Even though Neuhaus had earlier stated, by the way, this is from him as well, he had earlier stated that they really needed it. So all this type of stuff is really inconclusive, and basically it's just kind of it's all the normal, right? To have these types of discussions going on all day, all year, it's just to get them their own paycheck. I mean, they keep talking about exactly the same thing with different conclusions. Pretty stupid. So a couple of guys asked this one, what happened to Telegram and their coin TON, or their token? They abandoned it. That's all you need to know. I think that's the easiest and the best explanation for the system. They left it. It was a very big hassle, a couple of lawsuits, and, well, they abandoned the whole system. So not to worry about it. It's really not going to be coming at all. It's not really out there anymore. It's not really a thing people talk about anymore. But it's kind of funny how this was the biggest ICO, the biggest talk of the town for a very long while, and it's really gone completely out of existence right now. So again, maybe there's some stuff coming for TON still, or for TON, as now we got this free TON. But I just think it's not really anything more specifically cool or good, and I've kind of disregarded it right now. So right now there's free TON, as I said before, or at least that's the name they call it. First, I think it was just normally TON, but I have no real opinion on this anymore. I've just completely disregarded it, and I've put it into another shelf. On the contrary, it could have been that it was already called free TON at the start. I don't really care, though. I mean, just so you guys know, I didn't read this whole full thing. I just wanted to tell you guys, again, nobody's talking about this anymore. It has really gone away from the radars, but I was kind of confused as to what happened with it, and I saw a couple of guys say, what happened to Telegram ICO? It's gone completely off the radar because of all these lawsuits. But once more, if you're not interested in TON, then why read the article? Because who cares about it? I personally don't. The fiat standard and debt slavery. This one I wanted to get into really heavily, and then I decided, you know what, let's not do that, because I've talked about this specific case so many times here, and if we wanted to go over the real depths of this opinion about our current system, it would take me at least half an hour to portray all his or her views, and really to summarize this even would be a very difficult one for me. So we're not going to be doing that. I'm just telling you guys that this article is out there, and the fact that, there's a lot of people on the same line, where first of all, fiat is just a stupid thing made up. Second of all, this digitalization that's happening right now is most likely being manipulated, is an idea, where, again, the whole CV pandemic that we've seen right now has all been thought up to make sure that cash becomes extinct. Debt slavery is actually two sides, where one has to do with individuals' debt, where you're kind of in a circle to hopefully have debt, so you're enslaved to the system. On a different end, the countries will always have debt. It's meant to be that way. It will always stay that way because to a certain degree it's sufficient for a country to have debt, but also it's only getting bigger, worsening your position in a general world politics, or in the world politics. And in the end, that's also worsening your individual perception. No, not perception, guys. I have to translate every word I wanted to say in English. It worsens your position on the world playing field as a country. The higher your debt is, for example, the US is a very high debt, it lowers their global, not necessarily respect, but their position is sort of ranking. Because the US right now has the highest debt out there, and even though it has the world reserve currency, so it should be the most trusted government, because as I said before, fiat and even the US dollar is fully based upon the US government. It was mostly built on the fact that they had the biggest gold reserves back in the day, and they were the number one in most of these technological advancements. Since they're not really much the number one in anything anymore, or at least they're kind of straying away from that, this debt that they've built is most likely going to weigh in a lot heavier than before, because at first, if you're number one on everything and you have a higher debt, it's kind of logical, right? So even though on a global playing field you're put down because of your debt, you're way up higher because of all your advancements and your developments. However, if you start to weigh them off and you don't really have that much advancements anymore, not that much ahead of other people, your debt really starts to kick in, and so there'll most likely be a circle where you, as an individual, have to pay for this US debt, which is being created to help out more people, and obviously, in the end, also get more people in debt through a new system, because I've said before in a video, the thing is with money injections is these, and again, I'm getting a little bit deep here, but stick with me, these money injections are given to people because they do not have enough money to spend, right? They do not have enough money to buy their things, which is not good. It's not good for the economy, because if people don't spend anymore, your economy goes to shizzle because they have to fire more people, prices go down, again, more factories have to close down, and so you fire more people. You guys get the whole circle of downwards momentum. However, if people are given money and they are incentivized to spend, either because of necessity or because of opportunity, doesn't really matter in that sense, what also happens is there's inflation coming, right? Which is, of course, necessary to decrease your net debt. But also, because there's inflation happening and these people are incentivized to spend with given money, what happens is things actually become more expensive, and even though they get more wages, these wages normally are a little bit behind, and prices actually very often go up quicker than those wages go up. So most of the time you're down at least a little bit over years, or actually all the time. You're always down a little bit, specifically when given this free money. And kind of the bad side there, or the race, is that your debt actually becomes better or bigger and bigger and bigger with time. The more money is being given out and the bigger your national debt gets, specifically for the US, and your position as an individual just worsens over time knowing that. And another thing, just completely different actually from the side here, is just the US dollar. With the more debt the US has, is just getting worse and worse and worse. So even in that sense, your money is getting worse and worse and worse, and your position in the world as an individual is also getting worse. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. It was a lot of translating in my head, and I had to think quickly, but it was okay, because I think we got the story round. Money reimagined, Bitcoin versus gold is a battle of narratives. I've kind of said it before. I think gold is for the old ones who want to most likely not make as much money but have a real stable type of asset, and Bitcoin is for the ones who are able to take a risk for a couple of years but ultimately want a lot of money to really be made. And I think still Bitcoin is the better way to go. And Bitcoin, I mean crypto in general, but Bitcoin is first, and then moving over into altcoins. Japanese city to trial blockchain voting system. This one actually mostly refers to, in my opinion, XRPL and the Internet of Value eventually getting main adoption. We all know voting on blockchain is possible. We all know there's a lot of caveats in there, and Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, has also explained it before, how they will help governments out with putting things on blockchain, but there are some risks, especially to voting on blockchain. I want to reinstate here that Ripple's Internet of Value and basically the Ripple's goal that they have also includes voting and recording votes on XRPL. All right. Do not forget that the whole idea of the Internet of Value is moving all this data and money and stuff like that as easy as information, but votes are also information. However, they're not moved as easily right now, and there's still a lot of issues in the US like we've seen before, and they also want to fix that. Something you should think about. And last but not least here, there was an article about a $1 XRP, but we'll skip that one. I've talked many times here about a $1 XRP. I don't know exactly when it's going to be happening. I think any one of these days, maybe even the 11th, the day before the Spark airdrop, will be a big one. But we'll see. I'm pretty excited though. Guys, make sure you press the like button. Make sure you are subscribed, and make sure you comment something down below. I'm going to be seeing you guys in a couple more days. And take care, everybody, and have a very, very nice day.